here to talk about product quality improvement using definition of done and tech debt reduction. Uh, the last minute surprise for you. So as we were talking about, so this topic we presented in global Scrum gathering in Australia a year ago. So myself, Manjunatha, Ashish, Kumar, and Shijo. Ashish works as a Scrum Master and Agile expert in Cisco. Shijo is a senior Agile coach in Cisco. So I used to be part of their team, and now I'm part of Agile coaching team in Siemens. So let's move on to understand what is in it for all of us. I like Dilbert. I don't know how many of you like Dilbert. So I give you a minute to read what we are talking about. We are talking about quality. So according to you, what are the different attributes of a good quality? Good quality. How do you measure the quality? Some thoughts? How do you define quality, or on what basis will you measure the quality? Good quality. Sorry? No bugs. Okay. No defects. Sorry? Smooth UI experience. Okay. Meet the expectation. Sorry? Performance. Okay. Easy to use UI and usability, isn't it? Okay. What are the other parameters typically when we say a good product? Sorry? Meet the requirement. Okay. Meet the expectation requirement. Serving the purpose. It's more like requirements are met or stories are done, kind of thing, right? So any other thoughts? Sorry? Make customer happy. Okay. Delivers value. Yeah. So all this parameter, whatever you're talking about, can be mapped into one of these attributes, isn't it? When you say a software or any product, right? So it should be in terms of good in terms of maintainability, testability, flexibility, or reliable, efficient, meeting the purpose. Should be able to work across different platforms, isn't it? So this is by the standard definition of this IEEE way of representing quality and the parameters you need to consider into. So having said this, how many of you think and confidently say that the product where you are working, whatever could be your role, a developer or tester or agile scrum master, whatever it may be. So how many of you think and say confidently that the product what you are working is of a great quality or of a sufficient good quality? Can you see how many hands being raised? Sure. Difficult to say. Okay. Any other thoughts? Then are we really doing a crime of not building a right product? I mean quality or not building quality into the product? We are improving, continuous improvement. Okay. So this is the reality, guys. Let's agree. When we talk about any product or any service, there will be some lacunas, there will be some gaps, there will be some gaps. So what we typically do when we have some quality issues or problems or defects, what do we do? Analysis paralysis, RCA. What do you think are the typical reasons or the root cause for these problems? Design error, development error, communication, requirements. Any other thing? People issues, stakeholders, skill issues. Okay, what else? Sorry? Overlooked, human error, afternoon lunch effect in the coding, testing. Sorry? Time to market. Yeah. Don't know what you want. Absolutely. Actually, if you start doing RCA, right, that's why we mention it as analysis paralysis. You get lost. You don't know The reasons could be many. So we did similar exercise and we collected some input from different practitioners, trying to understand outdated technology, lack of skills, and on and on and on. Do you see any pattern here? Do you see any pattern? Lack of information. From our view, what we think is that these can be segregated largely into two buckets on what we call tech debt and an organization debt. Anybody know what is our organization level debt? Something to do with our culture, the people, skills, the management style, the leadership style, the collaboration, the softer elements, vision, culture, working together. So how do you think that can be bridged? That's about agile mindset, isn't it? So when we do it's not about doing agile. If you really be agile, bring in that agile mindset, whatever it might be, Scrum or Kanban or let it be whatever framework you are doing it. So that addresses the soft part or the organization debt part. So, but here being a quality or a technical topic, what we would be interested or what we will be talking here today will be about the tech debts part, which is more into your toolings, your quality in terms of testing, code reviews, performance testing, code quality, all those technical parameters which can typically how a team can take care of those. Making sense? Yeah.
Whenever we conducted this session, we had some document engineers sitting with us, and they will say that no, and they will say that yeah, documentation, poor documentation is definitely a failure. So there are items in front of you. There is org depth, there is tech depth. So if I will ask you to identify and relate yourself with one of this, will you be able to? Have you seen these things in your organization? Awesome. So any examples you guys would like to throw that my spark is okay. Any examples you guys would like to throw, like which maps to these challenges? Any examples for the benefit of others? Consider that we also don't know. So that way, any example with us.
Product owner is not giving time to the team, so he's for the
Organization test.
Yeah. Involvement of product owners. Sitting somewhere remote corner and.
One more thing is that we say the teams and the development teams are agile, but when it comes to the client perspective, they are not agile. So we are ready with the deliveries or we are ready for the changes, but they are not ready from their end. And to compare the client to be agile, it's like sometimes a challenge for us. Also.
Yeah.
Any tech debt you would like to throw some? Like Chaitanya, I know you are an architect and you had an awesome session right now. Any tech debt you would like to cover?
Usage of some tools
Yeah.
or technologies in the past, or the decisions that have been taken in the past, sometimes are binding on the future decisions.
Yeah. Makes sense. We get
Yes,
stick to
some
this.
examples in front of you guys.
Yeah.
So just see, we are not going to read every one thing over there. Just see and try to relate your idea with these thoughts. Have you seen that?
So this is some of the examples of tech debts we are talking about. Yeah. Sorry?
I have one technical debt, like old technologies are being used or old processes. So I work with an organization which is quite old, and though the teams are new, human resources new, the managers are old. So if you talk about Jira, they will say, "You don't understand Jira. Send me Excel and give me a drop down wherein I can see how." And other parties, they have old processes, like if you want to onboard something or you need some access, you will need to have wait for 15 days. And wherein in real time world, it's like, oh, you onboard someone and it's everything is.
Session is getting recorded. It will go on the YouTube.
Be careful.
Just kidding.
Okay. Yeah. So. Interestingly, there are a lot of research has been done in the field of technical debt. What it is, how it get introduced. So there are different dimension to it. So if you see that, sometimes we introduce as a developers or as a development team, we introduce technical debt intentionally, knowing that we don't have enough time to clean this up, clean this mess. We'll take care next time, or when we actually deliver it, or when we do an actual testing it. And most of the time, it's unintentional. You don't know that you don't know. So we are, we get into that trap of, either not maintaining proper quality of code, or the tests are not up to date, and sometimes it's become difficult to keep the tests up to date because of the, the pressure or not getting enough support from the tooling. The reasons could be many. So what is we are trying to say is it could be deliberate as well as there's a concept of tech debt quadrant. You want to throw some light? Yeah.
We go into technical details of tech debt, let me ask a very generalized question. Are debts really bad? How many of you have debts? Like, we use credit card, that is debt. We have taken home loan, that is debt. We have taken car loan, that is debt. How many of you have debts?
All of us.
Almost everyone. Is this really a bad thing? If not, how? Exactly.
Awesome.
That's the answer I was looking for. So those things you can definitely see in this quadrant, which Manju is going to deal with. So
yeah. So if you know about your debt, and you have a plan of action that, yeah, I know this is my debt and this is how I'm going to take care, that is good still to manage it. Yes. So yeah, these are some of the examples we could pull out from this.
So if you see over here, like the dev, we don't have time for the architecture. We don't have time for design. Like you are so busy, so super busy in your daily sprint activities that you have forgotten that you have some depth in your code. You are not able to prioritize it. You are not able to convince your product owner to get that tech depth into your product backlog. And he is like only business, only business, only business. And then the maintainability is getting high and costlier over there. And that results that in a sense which is deliberate and reckless. That falls in that quadrant. If we look into this quadrant which is reckless and inadvertent, like you don't even consider what is happening. So that falls in this category. So same case as in our debt, I'm using my credit card till it gets exhausted, and then I'm paying only the minimal amount, and that's stupid debt, I would say. So, like the
Go ahead.
So the same thing, if you'll see, there is a sense that which falls between prudent and inadvertent. You don't know how to do it. You want to try to fix it, but you really don't know how to do it. You don't have a plan. But there is this section which is a good place to be in, that you understand that what is the tech debt problem, what is the tech debt you have in front of you, what problem it can cause, and your product owner is also in the same alignment with you. So the whole idea is that debts are not bad. This is about the time, how we are dealing with this, and like when we are introducing it, if we are introducing it, whether we should clean it or not. So it's all about managing your tech debt.
Yep. So interestingly, there was a lot of surveys and studies which shows that the higher the technical depth, it keeps increasing in terms of your complexity, the maintainability, and those stuff increases. The velocity of your team, the number of new features which you can deliver to the product will keeps decreasing, isn't it? We spend more time on cleaning up and trying to understand how do we fit in the new feature rather than going to the fast. So it's very inevitable that the development team and the architects need to pay key attention to how manage this technical debt, and include the business, the product owners, or who's the key decision makers, because from their point of view, we'll get into the solution space, but just giving a highlight that this clearly gives an indication that if somebody comes and asks, like product owner or somebody from the business asks, why do we have to invest on this tool? Why do we have to invest on this tech debt reduction plan? Here is the answer to it. Any product managers, product owners, business decision makers?
If they're not there, go and give the message to them that if you're looking for a new feature every time and you're ignoring the tech debt, you're not helping your velocity will go down. That's the message for them if they are not there.
Yeah.
And there's
Unfortunately, those are the guys who don't really want to attend such conferences and all that.
yeah, they are so busy making money.
So that's where you have coaches who have been hired to change their mindset.
So these are real-time data. We have eliminated for the sake of confidentiality, but this is a real-time data. So there is no hidden things in this.
So then how do we know that we talked about a little bit about tech debt. So how do you handle it? How do you manage it? There are different approaches or way to manage this technical debt. First and foremost is identify it, categorize it and prioritize it. When you know that you are in trouble, acknowledge it and have an open conversation with the entire team, including the business or the product owner, saying that, hey, this is the situation we are in, so we need your help. Let's prioritize and let's get categorized into it and create a visibility. This is a big bang thing. That's where we need to make enough hullabulla about it. See, this is why we are slowing down, this is what we are stuck, this is what our impediments are, and make a clear visibility so that one of the things which we saw which worked greatly was as part of project Gemba walk, or when you present something to your leadership, keep talking about it, saying that we are stuck because of this, we are stuck because of this. So at least it will strike to them, yes, okay, there's something trouble and we need to make it. Oh, awesome.
Kanban talks about the visualization. So this is the thing that we need to do. This is the thing that how we need to do it. I agree that product owners do not listen to us. I agree that they do not attend the conference. But we as a Scrum Master, we as Agile practitioners, we can create the visibility in your organization. And when you put it in front of everyone, and when they start understanding that, yeah, this is the problem lying in front of you, they cannot hide behind curtains for a longer time. As a Scrum Master, we can take this change.
Yeah. And one of the thing which we saw which works greatly is when you start doing a release planning or when you're PI planning. So one of the element to be looked into is tech debt reduction plan. So are we investing enough time, investing enough effort towards managing the quality of the product using this tech debt reduction, or are we focusing only on the features? So that should be this thing. And sell the ROI. So basically the leadership or project management always will be interested in ROI. So why are we doing this? So we should be able to, as a team also should be able to talk about the impact it's going to have and how it is slowing us down. Yeah.
Architect in the room.
Yes.
So being the architect, being technical lead, you are the one who is the product owner of the tech debt backlog. This is your domain. You have to sell the ROI if people are not listening. Because you are the one who will bring the real idea that why I need to do this. If I will do this, my quality will be improved. So the third section is for the architect and the tech leads.
Yep. So of course, why we are doing all this stuff is because end of the day we need some funding and support to execute a part of your capacity to reduce this tech debt. So there are different approaches to do it. One is we know many times we'll be so imbibed into the development team. Can we hire a third-party consultants or some companies to do an automation? That was one of the things we saw in one of the product line where we were working. There was a clear call taken by the leadership team. I know you guys are super busy. We don't want you to get into. We'll hire a specialist testing automation team to get test automation from say 30% to 90%. Awesome, done. So it requires clear investment, clear strategies, and that will happen because you are doing. I mean, you are trying to do that selling to the leadership. Delivery heads, engineering R&D heads. Okay. So yeah, so this is what we believe in. So far we talked about technical debts and what are the ways to handle it. But so Agile and as in general, we believe in don't get into a trouble. That's the avoiding the trouble is better than handling the situation, the trouble, isn't it? So that's what it also says. So if you are digging yourself a deeper into a hole, first thing to do is put down the shovel. So then how do we do it? So one of the magic we saw in the product line where we were working, we were into the same situation. We'll share the story where we started and how we did it. But one of the thing was we realized that we are in trouble and made enough due diligence to get out of it. So over to you, Ashish, too.
Very wonderful thought guys over there. So till when you can understand that okay, something is happening, and there will be one point where you have to put down the shovel and you have to fix the thing, otherwise you will go deeper and deeper. How you can do that? What is the tool? I mean, there is a tool. That's a lot of text on that. I generally hate text, use pictures, but that is directly from the Scrum Guide definition of done. No need to read. Refer the Scrum Guide, but it says that definition of done. These are the components of a good definition of done. A common understanding and transparency should be there for a definition of that. Why we need that, I will come to that, but I'm just talking about what is definition of that. When the work should get completed, the ownership should be clearly defined for the definition of that. It will help the team also to identify the capacity when they will go in their functionality and non-functionality, everything what they are going to deal with their every story. So this will also help the team to identify their capacity. It will define the potentially shippable product. We refer all the principle and all, and we always see that whatever we are producing into one sprint, that should be definitely shippable. But how it can be determined, that can be determined using DoD.
Yeah.
And DoDs are not a dead document. It's not something like product. Okay, one question. It is in the quiz also, I think, which is running on. Who is responsible for DoD? Who is the guy who should define this DoD for team?
Yeah.
Development team should sit together and decide.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's the development team. So it's a live and evolving thing. It's not that someone has written it and it's stone cladded that guys you have to follow.
Yeah.
It's not that.
Right. So, in fact, we did a lot of. We were doing a brainstorming session and see what is that magic link which can help us to come out of this situation. And we saw one of the biggest advantage of magic mantra for us is this DoD, which is like a common connection to achieve a product quality. So that's why we are emphasizing a lot on DoDs. And the next couple of slides and next session is going to be how do you decide or define a DoD and whether it should be static, dynamic, who should own it, what are the different approaches you can get into that. And before we go there, so I think Ashish has an interesting question.
So there is a general confusion people have. In fact, the team I started with, they were like, why I need to do the DoD? There is already acceptance criteria in the user story defined. I will complete that and the story is done. Now, what is the definition of done for you? You are saying that meet the acceptance criteria and that's done for me. Why again you need a definition of done separately? Have you faced the same question anytime in your life? Okay. I was the unlucky one, looks like. So, but there is a confusion between the team, between these two, which are starting. So, there is I have took it from some source, and there is a good concept where it says that if you are doing the right thing in the right way, then you are meeting the acceptance criteria and you are meeting the definition of done also. But if you are doing the right thing in a wrong way, maybe you are meeting the acceptance criteria, you may not be meeting the definition of done. If you are doing the wrong thing in the right way, you are not meeting the acceptance criteria, but you may be meeting the definition of that. And in the case when you are not doing anything, you are definitely creating the maintenance overhead and the tech debt. So that's what DoD and acceptance criteria confusion some teams have. Okay. So how we can create a DoD? It's not that someday I will get a dream and I will come and say that these are the 5 things you need to do with the DoD. As a Scrum Master, as a PO, as a development team, no one will get this dream. You have to reach to that stage at a certain point of time. So you guys have to help me over there. That what are those things which constitutes a good DoD? How we can create a good DoD? What all should be there in the DoD?
How a DoD?
Like, when I say that the feature is delivered, when I say about the DoD, it should also consist of the test or the automation test that should be there.
Automation test, okay.
It should be deployed on the server unit. Actually, it should be working. Because most of the times, what happens is even if the development is done, we might face some issues with the safety on the production server.
Okay. So you should test it in an environment where it's almost close to a production, a mimic production server kind of. Okay. What else?
Fulfill non-functional requirements.
Non-functional like performance, security,
Even the UI.
UI. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Marketing. Marketing acceptance. Okay.
Code quality.
And
Code qualities.
Acceptance is nothing but customer demo or how?
It's a PO.
Okay. He is taking the demo and he is accepting that. Okay.
Yeah.
Test and code.
Unit test, code review, code quality, code coverages. Complexity, code complexity. Awesome.
Thanks for all the help. So in our thought also, these were like majorly the DoD items we also thought of, and we started with this approach. CI/CD definitely, yeah, performance testing, external documentation, design review, automation, code review, static analysis, dynamic analysis. So these are the things we also thought of. Now the question we had that how we should go. Should we go all big bang in front of the team that guys, these are the list you should do, and start improving your quality, start reducing the tech debt. So,
Or should you start something small? Have a minimum criteria so that we'll pause and then keep improving on it. So, what are your thoughts? What is the best approach? Okay. Any other thoughts? Anybody thinks that is the most
You prioritize and then maybe pick a couple of things, or maybe
yeah. So that's an incremental approach or a low risk approach. What could be the other approach?
Basic hygiene has to be there.
Yeah. Sorry.
Planless.
Planless. Okay. No, when you want to set up an DoD for your team, so there could be a low risk approach, which is start with something very simple like hygiene factors and keep building on it. So what could be the other approach, extreme approach?
If we continue doing that, start building from low, we may eventually end up into a lot of debt. Right?
Exactly. So the other approach could be to
these are good food for thought.
Yeah.
Park it over here. These are that how part. Let's understand that why part.
yeah.
Like we understand that some organization is doing it a different way, another organization is doing it a different way. And as Agile says that what works for you may not work.
Yes.
So, but we'll discuss. Those were just the initiator and food for thought for you guys. So, but yeah, definitely there is a magic and power of that. So, what this DoD did for us? When we started this DoD with our team, suddenly we started seeing many obstacles. Obstacles were getting visualized more and more. Teams were able to identify because they had all the granular tasks in front of them to meet the DoD. And when they were not meeting them, there was some reason not to meet them. And they started raising the obstacles. Was it a bad thing? No. It was not a bad thing because it was giving us a larger picture to resolve and get to a point where we can really improve our quality. The second part, like people say that my velocity is awesome, and sometimes they don't have any DoD. How you can calculate your velocity without a set defined DoD? Like you are not doing all the required part, and you are saying that your velocity is awesome. So that is another thing which I believe is a power of done. You have defined a set of criteria to complete a story. Then only you will get a real velocity if you are interested in it. Our organization is not. The another thing is that it's about the minimization and removing the idea of done. Like it can start from the big bang, but you should have minimalistic done at least in the DoD. That at least we should be this much at least to say a story done. So these are the power of done, I will say. Okay, now what we were talking about, that what is the approach? This is a good picture again. Like you guys have an idea about sticks. So like in US, if you go, they eat rare cooked, medium cooked, or then like well done. Like there is red meat for them. They have different tastes. It's not like their sticks are not good. Another person's stick is good, but they have different tastes. So the same thing over here. Definition of done is different than definition of well done. It may be different for one organization, may be different for other organization, and that's what we were reciprocating.
Yeah.
And that there is no universal recipe. We are not going to preach that go Chandan, do that in your organization and it will be awesome. No, try that. You may fail first, and then you will improve from there. So
our role is bank, so if one money goes here to there,
exactly.
Yes.
So you want to talk?
Yeah, so we discussed a little bit about it. So start with something minimum loss, go with something big bang. You know your teams are not going to achieve it. So that's where the challenge is. So we are setting that higher expectation, and and when you set that higher goal, that these are the criteria to be met, and we cannot meet it. What are the constraints? What are the reasons that you cannot meet it? Then it will start giving out the impediments, the risk, the technical constraints, or is there something some tool is required. So that will trigger that from thinking out of the box thinking pattern in the teams. And in fact, we are going to.
So these are the two thoughts. You start minimal done, and then you iteratively improve on it. Or either you start with a big one, and then you start reducing the waste from there. So there are two approaches in front of you. We started with bigger one actually. And,
Yeah, we didn't go with minimal approach.
we went to like RVP engineering is a very strict guy. He's like, why you cannot do it? He has his own sense of things getting it done. And when it's coming from top down, some sense, he's a perfect guy for agile things. Like he has all his belief, but he really wants to put a big target in front of the team. And from there we started releasing the best. So either you can go by step by step. You start with code review, design review. Then you go with the demo unit test, and you go to the top. You add all the item iteratively, or you start with everything and then you start reducing things from there. So maybe we'll take one or two stories from here that how you started and what was you.
Sure, yeah, please.
So in our organization, we see the done is defined and we call it done tree, and it is all the list is on the board, and it's a done driven development.
Okay.
Like you said, test driven development,
Mhm,
driven development. People are like for every tiny bullet out there, they will be working towards that.
Okay.
How was the journey? Where you started and where are you right now?
So I would call ourselves agile. It is.
No, I'm only talking about definition of that. Agile, no agile, Scrum.
Yeah, there are exceptions to every feature that we do every time. So I don't think we are done every time when we announce something that.
Okay.
Yeah, we start with a big thing is what.
Sure. Any other thought, guys?
Any other stories?
Important thing is not your process. It's not that how you're doing it. Important thing is that how you want to improve. There is a choice between in front of you that whether you want to go towards good, better, you want to just stand over there. So that's important. Our story, I will say that we started, as Manju said, we had our hurdles. We had a lot of technical depths in front of us. Like you cannot even imagine. We work for engineering organization where hardware and software integrate with each other.
Yeah.
Big organization.
And the products were very large scale implementation. The customers like cities, and so very critical, super critical customers. Even if system is out for a couple of seconds, they are going to incur huge loss. So super critical products, very complex, developed across geographies, so many teams, so many technologies, kind of thing. And in the initial phase, the product had its own challenge in terms of escalations and firefightings and those stuff. They said, okay, stop this madness. There is a better way of doing it. So the approach was that we'll start with a big bang, something that scale which teams cannot achieve it. Let's do that. So that's where it started. And from next day, teams said, "Are we crazy? We cannot get this we cannot meet this definition of done." Okay, then we have the perfect done. So what are those challenges? Why do you think we cannot do it? So it was a journey for like 2 to 3 years where a lot of investment in software tools and trainings and tech debt reductions and automations and a lot of those things. And we made it such a stringent stuff that if a team wants an exception in DoD, it goes to till director and VP level. So imagine the kind of discussion you need to give to that level why you cannot meet a definition of done for a particular feature. So you need to have a solid reasons and the rationale, or let's buy that time to get it done. So and it started doing the magic for us.
Data speaks like this is data from last year. Like our percentage you can see over.
Yeah.
And moreover, employee morale and satisfaction were getting increased. So that's what, like, if you start doing it, you will feel it. And it's not about only us. Like when I started this, I have a habit of asking questions in bigger forum. For whatever topic I work, I had done interesting. So I ask questions and I get ideas from the experts in the industry from LinkedIn. I do some comment survey in meetups as well. So this you can, it's shared already on slides. You won't be able to read it definitely. But yeah, I can give you some examples. Like this guy, Steve Gordon. He's saying that I asked a question that why it is important and what will be the impact if it is not there. So they are like that. This is the analogy. It is one of the vital team agreement. we definitely need it the stakeholder to get the team and the stakeholder on the same page. And moreover, like I have some 80 to 90 comments on each questions I have posted over there. I can give you the links and you guys can have it. So guys, today in this session, I'm giving you a new definition of DoD. It's not only definition of done. It's more about the definition of discipline. You have to be disciplined if you really want to achieve good product quality, if you want to reduce your sector. So it's all about discipline. It's not about a checklist. Checklist anybody can create, but as a good team, if you really want to do something, it's all about discipline.
Yeah.
So yeah, it always seems impossible until it's done. So thanks a lot, guys, for all your questions, hearing, and any questions we are open for.
It was an interesting journey for us, of course. We used to have enough brick batteries, firefightings. This should not be there as part of DoD and ownership. So it's a team. And by the way, there are a lot of confusion in the industry, like who has to do this DoD. Anyway, QAs or QA managers or testers, they should be doing it. We should not be doing it. They should own this. No, it's a team. So team need to do it and make it light in terms of process-wise. Automate as much as possible. Integrate with your the development systems and the tools so that make it as a part of the culture rather than seeing it as another overhead, another checklist kind of thing, and jointly do it. It's not just one person has to take care. It's the team. And yeah, it surfaces a lot of problems as they say, right? So Scrum is like a mother-in-law. So it shows all the faults, and it's up to us now whether we want to whether we want to fix it or do you want to live with it, isn't it?
So. Alright, so it was a really interesting session with you guys. I enjoyed a lot interacting with you. If you have any questions, we are.
How much percentage I should reserve for that reduction in 10%?
Well, it may. I mean, from my view, there's no generic thumb rule. It varies from a product to product. But at least in our case, we saw around 30% of effort.
30%. Like we have this commit. We do every for
3 months.
We do commits, and our product owner have we have that bought in from product owner, or you can say that we have that much strong architect that he asked for 30% of that.
Effort goes to tech debt reduction.
So it's visualization. Like it's all in front of him. He knows
Data speaks.
How many defects coming, how it's impacting his quality of the product. If there is one cap case means any hot case from any customer, you will lose that customer.
But did he ask question like why didn't you do it? Why do you need it?
See, the damage is done. So that discussion happened. Like I don't want to pay for some karma you did in the past. It's okay. We know that, but like let's talk about present. We cannot get away from that. So now how do we fix it? It requires time and effort. Not really. So not really. So it's about.
Like it was not exactly agile. It is a very old product I'm talking about. It's there in the 20 to 25 years in the market. Whenever you are calling any customer care thing, the voice you are listening to that side, that is the product we are talking about. So it's a very old product. And when they started, they were definitely not aware about this magic thing definition. When they realized, they started looking for.
So numbers speaks. Basically, you need to have the dashboards and show the numbers, and after doing it, show the numbers again. So how did it help? And
Do we have concept can we take a sprint where we
Yes.
take
Yes.
stories?
Yes.
We'll just do the refactoring.
Yes.
We have the concept like this.
See, it have to come. It have to come through your backlog. Our product owner, he need to understand the value out of it.
Yes.
He is the one, or they are the group of product managers. So they are very much driven with the business value.
So there were situations we have seen in the past where teams stops doing whatever they are doing. Let's focus, get the defects cleaned up, let the code.
Put the shovel. You cannot dig deeper than that. You will fall into that. So you have to take that risk.
There is a concept of hardening sprint.
No, that's.
We of course we didn't talk. So just the DoD, having a DoD will not do the magic. So this is one piece of it. We talked about technical depth. How about organization depth? If it doesn't go hand in hand, you're not going to get the benefit out of it. For example, org depth. So the team took a transition of like 2 to 3 years in Agile, and there is no tester role, by the way. Everybody is a development team. So we have a test specialist who does more of an automation, who supports in, but they also pick up development if required, kind of. So that's an arc change again, and emphasis on automation. So everything should be automated, and the tech debts and those things. Any other stuff?
Yeah, and writing automation code.
Yeah.
Not looking testers in a bad light. I was tester for my
Yeah.
entire life, 8 years or so.
Give some points on the organization depth, how you convince.
So the moment you'll see that a person who is sitting in the team who is only working, who is jockeying on top of your developers, who have nothing to do till the end of
Sprint.
So these kind of things you have to bring it in visibility of your stakeholders.
Yeah.
And that will be kind of organizational depth.
Yeah, so it was a tough journey. So there was a transition which was planned in terms of people were given enough trainings and options and mappings. Okay, now you have a choice of picking up this new skill or moving to a new role and pick up these, and so that's why the organization depth was taken care. And it's a cultural change, right? So top down as well as bottom up. Enough coachings, trainings, and mentoring and servant leadership at top level, and lot of things. For example, 360-degree kind of feedback. And how do you structure your team? So the team structure is such a way that engineering, product management, and Scrum Master. Scrum Master nowhere reports to engineering or product management. They are independent and empowered. So if there is any obstacles or any problems in the process or anything, right? So it goes directly to the head of the group. So that way, we are ensuring that nobody is getting biased in the process. So that way the organization depth was taken. Yep. Yes.
Definitely have this discussion outside as well.
Yes.
Thanks for attending this session.
Thank you so much. It was our pleasure, and thanks for accommodating the last minute surprise.